Because after all, between each of the 5 daily prayers, we get up to stuff. We have bad ideas, we have who knows what we do. And we know, even if we won't admit it to ourselves or to others, that there's stuff that we need to get out of our system. And the tahara, the wudu, is a very powerful way of making a barrier between the stuff that we get up to in the world of shadows and the world of light that we should be inhabiting during the act of prayer. Psychological genius at work here in the basic architecture of the religion. And that's why one of the practices that the ulama have always recommended is trying to hold on to one's wudu. Now we know that that can be taken to extremes, and it's makruh in all of the madhabs of Sharia to pray when you really need to go to the bathroom and renew your wudu. That's makruh, to be in a state what we call Hakim. You shouldn't do that. But preserving one's wudu, again, is said to have positive spiritual effects. And this is even in the hadith. There's a hadith of Anas bin Malik where he says, قدم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم المدينة وأنا يومئذ ابن 8 سنين. Holy Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, when he came to Medina, I was just 8 years old. فقال يا بني, and he said, little boy, my young son, literally, إن استطعت أن لا تزال على طهارة فافعل. If you can manage to stay in a state of purity, then you should do that. فإنه من أتاه الموت وهو على وضوء أعطي الشهادة. And then he goes on to say something amazing, because somebody to whom death comes when he is in a state of wudu will be given shahada, will be given martyrdom, the highest degree any human being can ask for. That's an amazing thing to tell an 8-year-old, because 8-year-olds are often not very attentive about these things, but it is important at the beginning of his life, at the beginning of his spiritual career. The Holy Prophet ﷺ tells him this thing about the importance of maintaining purity and maintaining wudu. And this is the hadith that Ibn Hanbal narrates in a number of narrations, wudu silah al-mu'min. We try and figure out logically what that could mean. Wudu is the weapon of the believer. And it also has the sense, silah is not just sword, but it's armour as well. It's a kind of protection. It's a way of protecting yourself. Again, it's a psychological reality, but it's also a spiritual reality. That if you go out into the world, into the shadows, the darkness, between the prayers, and you are in a state of wudu, you do receive a protection. There is something there, even if you're unconscious of it. At some level of your conscious mind or your subconscious, you're aware that you're not in a state of just dunya, but you're in some kind of sacred space. There's something pure about you. There is a bubble around you that will protect you, or should protect you, from what's out there and from what you might want to do out there. It is a protection. And many of the ulama have emphasized very strongly that when one is out, particularly in the context of fitna, one should try to hold on to one's wudu. And this again is the meaning of the hadith. لا يحافظ على وضوء إلا مؤمن. Only a person of iman, a believer, holds on to or maintains his wudu. What does that mean exactly? Well, Ibn Rajab says that's because it's like fasting. That's why fasting is said to be half of iman. As-sawmu nisfu iman in the hadith in Tirmidhi. Why is it such a big proportion, and why is it connected with iman? Because it's a secret thing. Nobody knows if you're fasting or not, unless they've been watching you on CCTV since Fajr time. Similarly, wudu, nobody has a clue whether you're really in wudu or not. It's a sign of your ikhlas that you maintain it, because nobody else will know. And it's to do, therefore, with your direct relationship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a test of your faith, to the extent that you're at ease when you're in a state of wudu and you feel uncomfortable when you're not and doing things. That's a measure of the extent of your iman.